Hey everyone, welcome back to Build Your English. I'm Jessica, and I'm really happy that you're here with me again. I hope you're doing well today, maybe taking a walk, making breakfast, or relaxing with a cup of coffee. Wherever you are, take a breath because this episode is going to help you sound more confident, more natural, and yes, more polite in English. You know, politeness is one of those things that quietly changes how people see you. It's not just about using perfect grammar or long vocabulary lists. It's about tone, rhythm, and kindness. A soft sentence can open doors that a loud one can't. So today, let's chat about the words that make communication smoother. Phrases that show respect, but still feel friendly and easy to say. We're going to talk about the language of polite requests and also the language of offering help, because both are part of the same conversation. We'll do it the way friends would talk, without lists or rules, just ideas that flow together naturally. And by the end, you'll have so many small but powerful tools to make your English feel calm and confident. All right, so imagine you need something from someone. Maybe you want your coworker to send you a file, or you'd like a classmate to explain a grammar point again. How do you ask without sounding pushy? In English, we often start with a small, gentle phrase that shows the listener we respect their time. You could say something like, "Could you please send me the report?" Or, "Could you please close the window?" It's short, but the word please softens everything. If you add a calm tone, it sounds kind instead of demanding. So, next time, instead of just saying, "Send me that," take a breath and try, "Could you please?" It's a small change, but it makes a big difference. Another phrase that English speakers love is, "Would you mind?" This one is like a little magic spell of politeness. You could say, "Would you mind opening the window?" Or, "Would you mind waiting just a second?" It feels natural, friendly, and it gives the other person space to say yes or no comfortably. When you use this phrase, you're not just asking for something, you're showing emotional awareness. That's what makes your English sound real and human. Sometimes you'll hear people say, "Can I ask you to?" which is a little more direct but still polite. Maybe you say, "Can I ask you to take a look at this?" Or, "Can I ask you to wait a minute?" It's confident, not cold. The phrase keeps the conversation open and professional. And then there's a classic one. "May I?" Short, polite, and elegant. It's perfect when you want to show extra respect. "May I come in?" Or, "May I borrow your pen?" Even though it sounds formal, it works beautifully in everyday English if you say it gently. You see, politeness doesn't depend on big words. It's all in the tone and the intention behind the words. By the way, if you want to sound even more thoughtful, you can start with, "I was wondering if you could." It's one of those phrases that instantly make your English sound calm and professional. You might say, "I was wondering if you could help me with this," or, "I was wondering if you could send me the details." It's long, but soft, and people respond well to it because it feels patient. Another friendly way is to ask, "Do you think you could?" It's slightly more casual and works great in conversation. "Do you think you could come a bit earlier?" Or, "Do you think you could help me with this form?" The phrase includes the listener in the decision, which makes it sound considerate. That's why it's so common in spoken English. It sounds like you care. Sometimes, when you're in an informal setting, you can use, "Is it okay if I?" For example, "Is it okay if I sit here?" Or, "Is it okay if I call you later?" It's casual, friendly, and perfect for everyday life. When you speak this way, people feel relaxed around you. They can tell that you're respectful but not stiff. You see, polite English isn't about being overly formal. It's about emotional balance. Firm but kind, confident but respectful. And one of the best examples of that is the phrase, "Would it be possible to?" You could say, "Would it be possible to reschedule the meeting?" Or, "Would it be possible to meet tomorrow morning?" It's the kind of phrase that works perfectly in emails or conversations where you need to sound professional yet gentle. At the same time, sometimes you want to express gratitude even before someone helps you. That's when you can say, "I'd really appreciate it if you could." "I'd really appreciate it if you could send me the document." Or, "I'd really appreciate it if you could check this." It's polite and warm. The moment you add appreciation, people listen differently. They feel that you respect their effort. On the other hand, when you know someone is busy, you can soften your request even more by adding, "If it's not too much trouble." "If it's not too much trouble, could you send me a copy?" Or, "If it's not too much trouble, could you take a look?" This phrase shows humility. It says, "I know you're helping me, and I don't take it for granted." Sometimes, when you feel a little shy about asking for help, you can begin with an apology. "Sorry to ask, but could you?" For example, "Sorry to ask, but could you explain that again?" Or, "Sorry to ask, but could you help me with this form?" It's such a simple way to show you value someone's time. A little kindness in your tone turns an ordinary request into a human connection. And then there's, "Would you be able to?" This one sounds polished and professional, great for emails or workplace conversations. "Would you be able to send me the details?" Or, "Would you be able to review this today?" It feels natural and respectful, the perfect middle point between formal and friendly. You can also use one of the most flexible expressions in English, "Would you help me with?" You might say, "Could you help me with my pronunciation?" Or, "Could you help me carry this?" It's short, universal, and full of warmth. It invites cooperation instead of demanding action. And finally, when you want to sound humble and sincere, you can say, "I'd like to ask for your help with." "I'd like to ask for your help with organizing the presentation." Or, "I'd like to ask for your help with this grammar point." It's respectful, direct, and kind. A wonderful way to close the circle of polite requests. So, when you look at all these ways to ask politely, what do you notice? None of them are complicated. They're all built from simple words. But what matters is rhythm and tone. English loves soft edges, small pauses, rising tones, a calm pace. You can say almost anything politely if you slow down and smile. Take a second right now. Choose one of these phrases that feels natural to you. Maybe it's, "Would you mind?" Maybe, "Could you please?" Try saying it quietly to yourself. Feel how it sounds. Feel how it changes the energy of your voice. All right, that was a lot of ways to ask politely. Let's keep the same gentle energy and move to the other side of kindness, because great communication isn't only about what we want, it's also about what we can give. You see, offering help in English is about being considerate without being intrusive. It's saying, I'm here if you need me, not let me take over. There's a difference, and it's all in the phrasing. So, imagine you see someone carrying heavy bags. You can ask, would you like me to help you with that? Or if you're at work and your teammate looks stressed, you can say, would you like me to finish this report for you? The phrase, would you like me to, is polite because it gives the listener the choice. You're offering, not ordering. Sometimes the simpler the better. Do you need any help with that? Is short and perfect for everyday use. You can use it with friends, coworkers, even strangers. When you say it with a kind tone, it feels warm and friendly. And when you want to sound a little more casual, you can say, can I give you a hand? It's a lovely everyday expression. Can I give you a hand with those boxes? Or can I give you a hand cleaning up? It's light and natural. People appreciate it because it feels sincere and friendly, like you genuinely want to help, not just be polite. Sometimes the other person might not ask for help directly, but you can still offer it gently. You could say, would you like some help? It's polite, it's soft, and it doesn't pressure the person to say yes. That's what makes it beautiful. It's an invitation, not an instruction. You're saying, I see you, and that small awareness already builds trust. Another natural phrase you can use is, let me know if you need anything. This one is so flexible. You can use it at work, with friends, or even in emails. It keeps the offer open, like a warm door that someone can walk through when they're ready. You might say, let me know if you need anything else, or let me know if you need help later. It's polite, but not controlling. It gives space and shows genuine care. And then if you want to sound both kind and confident, you can use, I can help you with that if you like. For example, I can help you with that if you like. I have a bit of free time. This phrase shows that you're offering your time willingly, not out of obligation. It feels generous but calm. Sometimes a softer tone fits better. You could say, if you want, I can help. Or if you want, I can stay and explain it. This one is great when you don't want to sound too forward. You're just quietly offering, leaving the decision to the listener. It's respectful and relaxed, perfect for friendly or informal situations. There's also a lovely phrase that adds warmth to your words. I'd be happy to help. This one instantly sounds genuine and open-hearted. I'd be happy to help with your project, or I'd be happy to help you practice English. It's polite, yes, but it also feels personal. You're not only offering your time, you're offering your kindness. Another one that English speakers use often, especially when they want to take pressure off someone, is I can take care of that for you. For example, I can take care of that for you, don't worry. It's short, but it communicates a lot: reliability, support, and calm confidence. A friendly version of that is, don't worry, I've got it covered. This is common in everyday speech. Don't worry, I've got it covered, or it's okay, I'll handle it. It sounds comforting, almost reassuring. You're telling the person, you can rest, I'll make sure it's done. If you want to sound a little more formal, maybe in a work setting, you can use, I'll handle that for you. I'll handle that for you sounds professional and confident, yet still polite. It shows leadership, but it's not overbearing. At the same time, offering help doesn't always need words like help or do. Sometimes it's as simple as saying, I can check that for you, or I can explain that later. It's still an offer, but it sounds natural and conversational. You see, offering help is not only about language, it's about attitude. When you speak with genuine kindness, even a few words can create a big difference in the atmosphere of the conversation. You could say something as short as, "No problem, I'll do it." And if your tone is soft, it feels warm and polite. Let's think about this for a second. When was the last time someone offered to help you without you even asking? Maybe they said, "I've got this," or "Let me handle it." Remember how that made you feel. Probably safe, maybe relieved, or just grateful. That's exactly what your English can do for someone else. These little offers of help make relationships stronger in work, school, and even casual moments. By the way, there's something powerful that happens when you start using polite language naturally. People begin to mirror you. When you speak kindly, others often reply kindly. When you use phrases like, "Would you mind?" or "I'd be happy to help," the energy of the conversation changes. It becomes more balanced, more human. And that's something I really want you to take away from today's episode. Politeness is not about being overly formal or afraid to speak. It's about emotional awareness. It's about seeing the person in front of you as a human being and choosing words that show respect. So far, we've talked about asking for help and offering help. And you might be thinking, "Jessica, do I need to memorize all these phrases?" My answer is absolutely not. The goal isn't to memorize. The goal is to feel them. Choose 2 or 3 that feel easy and start using them this week. For example, at work, you might try saying, "Would you mind helping me with this file?" At home, you could say, "Would you like some help with dinner?" When you do it once or twice, your mouth and your mind start working together. That's how natural English builds, through rhythm and repetition, not pressure. And if you're ever unsure which phrase to use, remember this simple rule. When in doubt, slow down and add kindness. Your tone does half the work for you. Even if you make a small grammar mistake, people will hear your sincerity and respond to it. At the same time, polite communication helps you in unexpected ways. It builds confidence, it earns respect, and it makes you feel proud of how you express yourself. When you speak kindly, you begin to like your own voice more. You realize you don't have to sound perfect to sound good, you just need to sound thoughtful. Let's take a quick mental break here. Imagine you're in a cafe in another country speaking English to the staff. Maybe you want to ask for something special or the order got mixed up. Instead of saying, "This is wrong," you could say, "Excuse me, could you please check this?" Same meaning, totally different energy. One feels tense, the other feels human. That's what these phrases do. They take everyday moments, like ordering coffee, asking for directions, talking to a coworker, and turn them into opportunities to connect, not just communicate. And remember, politeness doesn't mean you have to be overly careful all the time. It's just about being aware. Sometimes a simple "please" and "thank you" are enough. Sometimes you use longer phrases like, "I was wondering if you could." You can adjust your language depending on the person and the situation. Let's be honest, we all like to be treated kindly. No one enjoys being told what to do. So when you speak politely, you make people want to listen. You open their ears and hearts. That's the real power of polite English. So let's recap a little bit before we move into reflection. When you're asking for something, you can use soft openers like, "Could you please?" "Would you mind?" or "Is it okay if I?" When you're offering to help, try, "Would you like me to?" "Let me know if you need anything," or "I'd be happy to help." all of these are friendly, flexible, and easy to mix into daily conversations. Try to practice them one at a time. Maybe this week, choose just one phrase to focus on. Use it at least once a day. You can even practice out loud when you're alone. It might sound funny at first, but it really helps your tongue get used to the rhythm. English has a kind of musicality, a rhythm that flows with small rises and falls. When you use polite phrases, your voice naturally finds that rhythm. By the way, if you enjoy episodes like this, don't forget to subscribe to Build Your English. Your support truly helps me keep making lessons that you can listen to anywhere, on your walk, on the bus, or during your study time. And I'd really love to hear from you. You can tell me which phrase feels most natural to you, or which one you tried in real life this week. All right, let's take another small pause together before we close. Take a slow, deep breath. Think of one person you can speak to kindly today. Maybe a colleague, a friend, or a teacher. It doesn't have to be anything big. Even a gentle, "Would you mind?" or "Can I help you with that?" can brighten someone's day. Politeness, when it's genuine, has power. It turns simple English into something graceful. It's like a light touch that makes every sentence smoother. You see, when you choose words that sound soft and respectful, you start to shape the way people see you. It's not just about English anymore. It's about presence. Every time you say, "Would you mind?" or "Could you please?" you're showing emotional intelligence. And in every culture, people notice that. At the same time, speaking politely doesn't mean being afraid to express what you need. You can still be clear and direct, just with kindness. For example, if something is urgent, you can say, "Could you please send this as soon as possible?" Or, "Would it be possible to finish this today?" You're asking directly, but your tone stays respectful. That's what makes polite English powerful. It balances clarity with care. And when you make this kind of communication a habit, you'll see small miracles happen. People will smile more when they talk to you. They'll say thank you more often. Conversations will flow smoothly. Even when there's a disagreement, politeness will make it easier to solve things calmly. By the way, if you ever feel that polite English sounds too formal, remember, it's all about how you say it. You can take the same phrase and make it sound natural just by using your voice gently. For instance, "Would you mind waiting a second?" can sound relaxed if you say it with a friendly tone. So don't worry too much about sounding perfect. Focus on sounding kind. And here's something interesting. The more you practice polite English, the more natural your confidence feels. Because politeness and confidence actually support each other. When you speak kindly, you feel calmer inside. You know you're communicating with respect, and that gives you quiet strength. So don't think of politeness as something extra. Think of it as a skill that makes you powerful in a graceful way. Whether you're talking to a friend, a teacher, or even a stranger, polite language keeps you grounded. Let's be honest, the world always needs more kindness, and language is one of the simplest ways to give it. You don't need money or a big gesture, just a soft phrase like, "I'd be happy to help," or "Let me know if you need anything," can make someone's day easier. I've seen this again and again with my students. The moment they start using polite English, their relationships with coworkers, classmates, even customers change. People begin to respond differently. Suddenly, conversations aren't stressful anymore. They become friendly, warm, and smooth. And here's a little secret. When you speak politely, you also make it easier for other people to be polite with you. That's because politeness spreads. It's like a quiet chain reaction of good communication. So if you ever feel like your English isn't good enough, just remember, kindness always sounds fluent. You can speak simply and still sound professional, natural, and confident just by being gentle with your words. Let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've talked about today. We started with polite requests, phrases like, "Could you please?" "Would you mind?" and "I was wondering if you could." We saw how these small expressions change the feeling of a conversation. They show patience, respect, and kindness. Then we moved to offering help, using phrases like, "Would you like some help?" "Let me know if you need anything," or "I'd be happy to help." Together, they form the language of empathy. When you combine polite requests and kind offers, your English starts to sound not only correct, but also beautiful. It becomes human. By the way, don't feel like you need to use every phrase right away. Start small. Maybe this week, just pick 2 that you really like. Try using them naturally in conversation. You'll be surprised at how people respond. You could even make a small personal goal. For example, saying one polite phrase every day for a week. Each time you do, you'll feel your confidence grow quietly, like a plant getting sunlight. And remember, polite English isn't something you only use in formal moments. You can use it in daily life, at a cafe, at school, on a video call, or even at home. Saying, "Could you please?" to your friend or "Would you like some help?" to your family isn't strange. It's kind. It's part of being mindful and respectful. You see, politeness in language is really about connection. It builds small bridges between people. Every time you speak with kindness, you make the world around you a little easier to live in. Let's imagine for a moment. You walk into a busy office or classroom. Everyone's rushing, everyone's tired. You need something, and you say gently, "Excuse me, would it be possible to check this?" The mood softens. People notice your calmness. They listen. That's the quiet power of polite English. It calms the noise. At the same time, when someone asks you for help, you can smile and say, "Of course, I'd be happy to help." That small answer creates trust. It says, "We're on the same side." So next time you speak English, think of it as more than words. Think of it as an atmosphere you create. Every phrase is like a drop of warmth you add into the conversation. All right, dear learner, we're almost at the end of today's episode. Before we wrap up, let's take one final breath together. Inhale deeply and exhale slowly. Feel proud of yourself for spending this time learning, reflecting, and improving not just your English, but your way of connecting with others. Politeness is something the world understands in every language. It's like a smile. It doesn't need translation. So keep using these phrases, keep practicing with intention, and most importantly, keep believing that your words matter. If today's episode helps you feel more confident about speaking politely, I'd love for you to subscribe to Build Your English. Your support means so much, and it helps me keep sharing lessons like this with learners all around the world. And I'd love to hear from you. Tell me, which polite phrase did you like the most today? Which one are you planning to use this week? You can leave a comment and share your answer. I always enjoy reading your thoughts. Remember, politeness is not about perfection. It's about connection. When you speak kindly, you're already fluent in the language of respect. So keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and keep building your English step by step. Until next time, speak kindly, offer help freely, and never stop learning. You're doing better than you think, and I'll be here cheering for you every step of the way.